Right, so let's start. Hello, my name is Martin Parr, I'm a photographer. In the latter half of the 80s, I started picking out on the whole idea of the consumer boom that we had in England. And of course, what I'm doing really is taking the language, if you like, of commercial photography, of propaganda photography, and using it for my own means and ends. So if you like, I'm taking their language, borrowing it, and subverting it. So I like the fact that my colours in my photographs almost look like advertising, almost look like the very thing that I'm sort of making a counterpoint to. My ultimate agenda at the moment is to photograph aspects of the modern world and the wealth of the modern world. Therefore, if people ask me what is my one subject, I would always say it's the wealth of the Western world, which in the end will be our downfall. I started taking up for the first time the macro lens and the ring flash. And this is a combination usually meant for medical photography. You can get in very close, you have very bright colours, very even lighting. It's like a portable studio. And I started working away and eventually did this project called Common Sense. And Common Sense really does look at the sort of first world and the whole idea of the homogenized, junk-full world that we're all part of. And although the pictures are very bright, actually when you look at the pictures, they're potentially quite depressing. I use things like irony. I use devices which are sort of inherent in England. So I try and, if you like, make, slightly ironic pictures. I have a whole sort of collecting habit, if you like, and this collecting habit is very similar to my own photography. I like the fact that the same set of pictures can annoy people and the same set of pictures can please people. I'm taking the whole notion of our prejudice, the way we view the world, the superficiality of how the photography works and presenting that to people, and people take from it what they will. I'm rather disappointed that my work isn't as controversial as it was 20 years ago, and perhaps I'll have to do something about this. It's called Common Sense because of this idea that it's something that's familiar, it's something around us, something we know, but something perhaps that we don't really want to put our finger on. When I first went to Mexico about 3 or 4 years ago, I was fascinated by how Americanized it had become, but at the same time, there's a very distinctive feel of Mexican culture. So if you like, what I wanted to explore were the iconographies and the cliches of these two cultures and how they're sort of battling it out. But at the same time, I wanted to pick up on some of the Mexican ideas of culture. And it's that sort of strange mix of these two things coming together that fascinated me. I picked up on this subject because we're surrounded by it, because it's the life I lead. One of the things I wanted to do is to try and bridge the gap between the pictures I take and the life that I lead. Many of the things that I do are based around personal experiences. It's a form of fiction that I'm creating, whereby I can have a sort of dialogue almost with my own sort of insecurity, my own hypocrisy. It's therapeutic. I'm a fantastic hypocrite because I too, by making a career out of this, have become wealthy. All the things, if you like, that I'm doing a critique of are indeed things that I enjoy myself. I go out and buy books and prints, clothes, all the other things, Saddam Hussein watches. But, in order to fund that activity, I need to generate income. So I love the fact that in the end, it's a very peculiar circle that I'm part of.